All right, everyone, here we go with an energetic weather update. What's going on? It's a big week. Big retrogrades happening. I'm going to be pulling tomorrow on Jupiter retrograde, and I wrote all about it. I talked about a bubble, and I wrote all about it in my November write-up. I would certainly read it. I've certainly watched the reading. Anyway, I got Mercury retrograde coming up on Thursday as far as big readings go, and I'm pushing that one. Mercury's already retrograde, but I'm going to combine the energies of Mercury retrograde in Scorpio and Sagittarius and all of that. I'm going to put them together into one big mega read because the energies kind of swirl in that respect. So I need to let it get going a little bit to get an accurate read. Wouldn't be as accurate. I don't think it wouldn't be as accurate if I split them up. So I'm not. But what's the energetic weather right now? What's the riding out this week, going from like today until about, I'd say middle of next week even, okay? I would say that. There's a lot of influence going on. That Jupiter bubble that I talk about when Jupiter goes retrograde is creating a problem. I cut the deck before I hit record. I'll cut it again just for fun. But that Jupiter going retrograde is creating a problem with emperors, with the divine masculine side of things here, okay? With the Nine of Wands crossed by the Emperor, I'm going to cut the deck again just for fun, but I definitely wanted to show you that. It's an energy that affects you. It's not so much you're having a problem with it, but somebody else, other people may seem overly aggressive or angry about being confined in some way. All right? They don't like it. There's something about the energy that's rubbing them the wrong way a little bit. And that affects you on some level. People may get defensive with you a little bit. Yeah. The Six of Swords and the Four of Swords and the Four of Pentacles and the King of Swords. I would have, in conflict, I'm just cutting the deck again. I've already given you the environmental energy, but I'll cut it again. On your side, on somebody else's side, they're irritated with any walls that are put up. They won't tear them down. They don't want to be restricted. Too bad. Jupiter retrograde creates the bubble. It is what it is. That's why I spent so much time writing about it in my November write-up. And we'll talk about it again tomorrow in the Jupiter reading, and it'll show up. I imagine we'll have a similar theme or something. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's going to come in. But this is you. Let it ride. Hold back. Stay to yourself. Everything's conflict. Anything you do, people are going to see it's defensive. Why? Because you keep showing up as the sitting king. Okay? So they're going to be a little bit defensive towards it. They're going to be, that's not even the right word. I think annoying is a better word, a little bit. It's like everything. Anything you say to somebody who's in that emperor energy, anything you say, they're going to accuse you of deflecting it or changing the subject or, that kind of a thing. Blaming somebody else, blame shifting kind of a thing. They will accuse you of the very things that they often do, right? That they are. That's just the way it is. It's the way narcissists work. It's a very narcissistic emperor that came up there. And that's the way narcissists work. They can never do any wrong. It's always somebody else's fault, right? It's really annoying. I live in a neighborhood full of them. I deal with them all day long. I know, right? It doesn't matter. They always find somebody to blame. All right. Let's see where we go. So in this energy, in this environmental energy, it's going to be you. You're the neutral energy that gets everything dumped on it. So again, like these cards said after the second cut, just to, carve a space for yourself. Do something, right? Take up knitting, clog dancing, piano. I don't fucking care what you do. Your hobby could be watching porn. I don't care. Whatever it is, do it in your basement by yourself. All right, and that's it. You avoid conflict. But it's probably going to find you anyway. It's all minor. It's Five of Wands anyway. It's a general reading. May or may not resonate with you, but if the title brought you in here or you found Steve's Love Tarot, you're here for a reason. This reading is timeless. I'm not a fucking time lord. So whenever you find it, you're meant to find it. Let's pull on the energy. I mean, we're just talking surface energy here. I'm just giving you the lay of the land. But dream a little dream. Your escapism. Now we're talking about you. We started, we did two cuts. I did one before I hit record. We talk about an emperor coming towards you. These emperors are going to blame shift on you. They're going to be defensive. They're going to feel like you're hemming them in. Everything you say is to hem them in. Oh, okay. All right. Calm down, motherfucker. Chill out, right? Now, then we start talking about you. I say find a little place, carve out a little spot for yourself, right? Otherwise, you're where all the energy, you're where all the smell goes. My little room that I do these readings in my house, and I get crammed in the corner with the guitars and everything like that in this little room that I'm in. This is the room, I don't know if the house is tilted a little bit or something, but this is the room where all of the smells go. Doesn't matter, bathroom smell, kitchen smell, whatever it is, foot smell from 9 rooms away, it all flows down here. It just ends up in this room, all right? You are this room in this fucking energy, all right? It's all going to end up, it's all your fault. Just laugh about that, all right? So while you're carving a little space for yourself to knit, to do clog dancing, to watch porn, whatever it is you're doing, all right? Dream a little dream. You're going to feel better escaping. Escapism is your key. You're going to feel better escaping to your little fantasy land. I suggest you do that. I suggest very strongly that between now and at the very least the 18th to the 20th, give or take, you dream a little dream, dream away, escape, have some kind of fantasy land you escape to. Be a little bit delusional if you want to about what you're doing. I don't know, while you're knitting, while you're playing piano, while you're clog dancing, imagine a crowd is watching you. Just imagine it, right? Imagine that that's what's happening. You know, you're a big deal. You're the world's biggest clog dancer, right? Or maybe you're the world's biggest porn watcher. I don't know. You know, maybe you have a YouTube channel where people watch you watching porn. I have no idea. I mean, there are kids that make $1 million a year out here having people watch them play video games. So I don't even understand that. But either way, whatever. At the end of the day here, carve out a little niche for yourself. Dream a little dream. Dream about where you're going, where you want to go, the 4 of Wands. This is the environmental energy for you. This is the ideal place for you to be. All right? Probably this isn't going to happen in the real world at the moment. This is temporary energy, maybe about a week. But that is where you should be right now. Fairyland. Okay? That's crossing the center card. It's the best way to deal with it. All right? In my case, how do I deal with the room? Well, I keep the door closed a lot, and I have a lot of air fresheners in here. It's nice. All right, it's kind of a mix of pumpkin spice and fresh scent, right? It's weird. It smells weird, but it's better than the alternative. All right, here we go. Here's 3 right here. Knight of Swords. 3 of Cups. Everybody's so damn emotional. Just be. Look, pay attention to what I said here. Here's you in fairyland, right? Be there. Be all there. Emotionally, that's where you are. Detach emotionally. Because the people coming at you, he's got an emotional sword. They're coming. These 2 energies are read together. It's just these people who, emotionally, it's their way or the highway. This can play out very small. It can play out very big. It's always, as I said earlier, annoying, right? You're not going to get to watch what you want to watch on TV on a small level. If you're sitting with somebody, you got a boyfriend, you got a girlfriend, you got both. You're sitting there on the fucking couch. You are not going to get the room. Anything you pick, they're not going to want to watch. Okay? It's that kind of energy. It's okay. Do not engage. You just, whatever. Put on whatever you want. I'm going to disappear into fairyland. All right? That's the idea here. That's your best route this week, is to dream a little dream. Escapism. Practice escapism. And be sure and feel these dreams. It's an ideal time for you to manifest. We are in the middle of the 11/11 energy. You know, this energetic weather update flows, probably lasts right up until the 11/11 energy starts to dissipate around the 18th to the 20th, like I said in that reading. All right? Be all in. You are, believe it or not, you're getting something done. You're like, well, Steve, I'm wasting my time with all this fantasy. No, you're not. It's fueled by a 4 of Wands. You can bring this to reality. But if you snap yourself into reality, you're going to be dealing with a lot of annoying people. You're where the fart smell goes. You're where everybody's problem is. You're the one holding them back. It's your fault that didn't work. They're going to blame shift it right on top of you. All right? Okay. And anything you say back to them, if you backsass, well, you're just deflecting. You're just this, you're that. You know, it's all them. All right? Oh, man. A day in my life. Welcome to it, man. I'm surrounded by fucking people like this all the time. You get it temporarily. Good for you. Okay? Lose yourself. Be all in. You are manifesting. You are, and you're manifesting something great with that Four of Wands there. That leads to a nice Ten of Pentacles. Now, let's find out what people have to say to you. This is a nice thing. Remember what I said. I'm trying to help you. All right? And I'm not a Time Lord. This might play out for you this week. It might hit you late in the energy, in which case it dissipates out well toward the end of the month. I don't know. But these are the environmental energies that are around right now. So some people don't understand what I mean by that. I often equate it with colds and flu, right? Sometimes some people, as soon as they come in contact with some, they can go to a store that's full of people with the flu and not get sick, or they get sick way down the line. It affects them later, even though they were around it in the moment. It's that kind of a thing, right? It's the kind of a thing where you're around somebody who's sick, and then 10, 12 days later, you're sick, right? Sometimes, and some people get it sooner than that. Sometimes it only takes a few days in some people, right? That's what I mean. It's that kind of a thing. I would say it's an annoying illness. It's not a cold or a flu, but it's annoying. Find yourself a little space to be. Do some manifesting, do some dreaming. Be all in with it. This is a very emotional Three of Cups. I think you'll be happier here. It's a celebration energy when you're here. You'll be glad you'll have a place to escape to. So if you don't, make one, right? Make up a fairyland right now. All right. People always picked on the kids. I wasn't one of them, but because I'm not into all that kind of weird fantasy stuff with the elves and all that kind of stuff. But, people often, I remember at school, people used to pick on the kids who played Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that. Yeah, they were always like the nerds and stuff. But I'll tell you what. They got fabulous imaginations, and that's something that helps people like that later in life. Some of them still play even later in life, but that imagination building is, it did them a whole lot more good than being real good at baseball or football. Most of those people didn't go on to be professional baseball or football players, but most of those people that played Dungeons and Dragons with their imagination in fairyland manifested a whole fucking life for themselves. Some of them went on to do some great things. A lot of them often do. It's a lot easier to be a professional imaginary person than some sort of sports hero. I'll tell you what. All right, let's go. Knight of Swords. Hence, who is it? Bruce Springsteen's Glory Days song from his Born in the USA album. Yeah, I know. Yeah. If you ever go to a high school reunion, you'll get that song real fast. Four of Swords, crossing the Knight of Swords here. So if you are real good with imagining and daydreaming, this energy is prime. You'll manifest whatever it is. So keep those dreams nice and happy, things that make you feel really good. All right? Don't bring in any of your own nightmares, okay? Four of Swords here. It's sort of like an energy. It's not about the energy around this person. It's like a void. It's like they speak without thinking, right? And they're not considering your feelings at all. It's like you're not even there. Right? It's a bit of that. What's on top? The Seven of Pentacles. Yeah. So why is that here? You got one person. Can I just say, this isn't this type of reading where I'm supposed to be saying you got one person around you. Yeah, I think you got a lot of little emperors around you. You'll want to escape in this energy. But you got one person around you who feels like they want to lay some truth on you, and I believe the Ten of Pentacles is the bridging energy here. I'm going to say this. I believe they're doing it to make themselves feel better about their lives. There's a whole lot of other people making themselves feel better at your expense. Now that's an overview way of talking about the energy I've been talking about. Really, they just feel hemmed in, and it's bothering them because they can't be, right? Nothing controls me. I'm the emperor. That kind of a thing. It's a bit of a power trip almost, right? But I'm going to read it that way. Somebody wants to make themselves feel better about their life. So they're going to lay some kind of truth on you. So it's almost like somebody who tries so hard to tell you how great their life is and let you know about it and all that kind of stuff, shows you how bad it is. Why? Why do they have anything to prove? It seems like one person has something to prove to you. All right? I don't know. Let's talk about this here. Again, you don't care. You're in fairyland. What do you care? Right? I wouldn't care. All right? You don't have to listen. All right, here we go. The King of Cups. Even in this room, I talk about with all the smells that come down into it. I'm nose blind to it. I've been pulling readings in here for fucking 5 years almost now. I'm nose blind to it at this point. But I do put the fresheners in in case somebody else walks in. All right, here we go. It's not that everything smells bad. It's just when a room gets all of the smells, right? Sometimes they blend, they mix together, and sometimes, I mean, I like mashed potatoes, and I like peanut butter, and I like mustard, and I like all those things, and ketchup, but I don't mix them together into one thing, So, at the end of the day here, King of Cups, why is that here? Let's talk about it. That's all I'm saying. You're getting the full mix here. You could take what I'm saying and apply it to people coming at you. You're better off carving a little fairyland for yourself right now in the environmental energy. And this will last. I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to say 18th to the 20th. I'll probably put the 20th-ish in the title. Ish means, give or take. But you're all moving at different speeds on your timeline. But this is a good week to manifest anyway. And you might as well. That Jupiter bubble is coming. 8 swords here crossing this. It's right here. Why? This is sort of finding out why somebody's doing this. Why all of a sudden Mr. or Mrs. I'm not going to share my feelings is all of a sudden getting all pissy. Because they feel hemmed in. They feel trapped. Everybody, these energies, these masculine energies this week feel trapped. They feel anything that hems them in. If you're in a relationship with one of them, they're going to start coming at you with shit like, we never do anything anymore. I feel like I can't even go hang out with my friends because I got to hang out with you. It's going to be those kinds of conversations. Water off a duck's back is my advice to you because it's all a bunch of nonsense. How do I know? Because this is nonsense. The 8 of Swords. They're doing it to themselves. It's almost a self-sabotage energy because they feel hemmed in. They're doing the opposite of what they need to do to get out of it. What they need to do is keep their mouth shut and realize that they're not hemmed in at all. It's just all an illusion. Right? What's on top here? Justice. See? What did I say? They want to break out of prison. There's no prison. They're doing it to themselves. It's all imagined. Again, this imaginary energy carries over on both sides. The DF side, which is most of you, is dealing with it by fantasy land, fantasizing, imagining, manifesting that 4 of Wands. This side over here, imaginary land for them is some imaginary fence around them where they're hemmed in, some wall, I can't get out, and they're going to bust out with a sword. I mean, it's unreal. No, it's all imagined. If this side played this energy right, they'd be doing the same thing you're doing. Watching porn in your basement, I guess. I mean, why's the Justice here? The four of Cups. A lot of it is, there's a lot of boredom going on. I don't know why. Somebody feels we have a lot of. There's a couple of energies. I talked about smells that blend, right? And I gave an example of foods that blend. I like this, this, and this, but I don't blend them together, right? Ew, right? There's a lot of, on the DM side, I don't want to say clinical depression, because I don't know how many of them have been diagnosed, but the energy feels like it to me. So whether they've been diagnosed or not, I'm just going to say there's, on the DM side, there's a lot of depression. Usually it leads to some sort of self-loathing, some sort of disappointment about how their life is, but they mask it with a bunch of whatever, jokes and dreams and whatever, that kind of a thing. Nonsense, like what's happening over here, where someone's trying to explain how, they're coming at you with that. Anyway, an energy that you blend, a blended energy is of depression and boredom is it tends to be a real problem. It tends to cause the lashing out. It tends to have people want to get justice in it. We get rid of everything. Well, nothing's good anyway, so we just get rid of everything. That kind of a thing. So be careful about that. 6 of Cups is the bridging energy here. These are, well, on one hand, these are soul connections that are mostly coming at you with stuff that would affect you, but also on the I don't think it's on your side. It might be on your side too. I think you're dealing with it better if it is, but some issues from the past are returning. We have a lot, that's an obvious, we have a lot of retrogrades, Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, and things like that. I think one side, I'm going to say your side, this Fantasyland side, is dealing with them a little better. This side over here is cracking walnuts with dynamite. Not just cracking a walnut with a fucking sledgehammer, cracking a walnut with dynamite. They're going way overboard on what it is. Overreacting, should we say. Okay? That's all I can say. The issues are coming in. There's no need to overreact. Okay? I think even I might encourage you not to get, delusional about these problems and have them looked at. But I think this works to your advantage here. I think you taking an easier approach to it is better than this side over here, which is obviously overreacting. Again, it's all in their head. You've got people attached to you that feel hemmed in. They feel there's a wall around them. They feel limited in some way, and they want to break out of it. It's just the way they're doing it is kind of shitty, for lack of a better way to put it. Let's see if there's anything else the universe wants to tell you, and we'll get out of here. One card, the crossing card. What else you want to tell my people? Anything? Them's the energies. Best advice for you, get to La La Land. Just go ahead. Whoa, flying on the... Look at that. Look at that. Fell on the floor reversed. 8 swords. That's 8 swords, and that's not reversed. It's crossed by the 4 of Pentacles. What else? The 10 wands and the Strength card. I want to dig. I want to see what this is about, because it's supposed to be a message for you, but it didn't read that way. Ace Cups with the 4 of Pentacles. Don't judge anybody I'm just going to phrase it this way, okay? Can I paraphrase this? Okay, I dug so I could figure out how it relates to you, because it reads more like them. Don't prejudge people like this. One of your best bets is to actually deflect, even though you'll be accused of it in this energy maybe, is to actually deflect it. In other words, discount anybody coming at you with a bunch of nonsense that feel hemmed in, that whatever, they're lashing out. Discount it a little bit, okay? It's not worth risk. It's not a good energy to separate the wheat from the chaff. In other words, it's not ideal at least for the next week. The beginnings of this energy isn't a very good energy right now to judge somebody based on how they behave within this specific energy. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So, in other words, it's asking you to take this and use it as a distraction, really, in a big way. La La Land, your fairyland. Again, like I said, practicing escapism is going to be your key here. You have somebody attached to you that, whoever it is, one of the energies, probably this one, that's coming towards you, very much in love with you, very much a lot of love, and they scared to death of it, especially in this energy. Why? Because, well, that hems them in. There might be a player type energy or something along those lines. Definitely a King of Cups who holds back things. But we have a lot of King of Wands type energies around. That Emperor that I had earlier was an out of balance Emperor. Definitely a Burger King. King of Wands, got to have it their way. And this much love represents tying somebody down. Again, hemmed in. Anything that makes the DM side feel hemmed in this week works against the DF side. Don't take it too personally. It's a temporary energy. This is not going to be good for married people. If you're married to a Burger King, Steve, I'm married to a Burger King. I fucking deal with them, but this is going to be a tough week. All of a sudden, you're the jailer this way in this energy. Okay? And again, I'm not a Time Lord. It affects you at different times, so remember this reading. It could hit you in December. I don't know. I don't know what your energetic immune system is like. Right? Some are better than others. Anyway. That's the energy. That's the energetic weather update. All right? Take it for what it's worth, but it's good advice to just dream a little dream here. Escapism will serve you well. That's your reading. I hope it was helpful. Good luck.